Wonderful being part of Ipswich Creatives. Beth and Karen, thank you.
Yeah, welcome to Kim Frohloff to Ipswich Creatives. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, because you've done all sorts of really interesting creative things, and we wanted to learn about how you got started. So, what got you interested, because you've done all sorts of things now, but what got you interested in photography to begin with?
Well, photography actually got me out of school. So I took a traineeship through Kodak when I was living up the coast. So back in the day when we had photo labs, I did a traineeship through Kodak at Morayfield. So I was one of the last people who was formally photo lab trained.
Oh, cool.
So while I was there, my manager was a wedding photographer. She did wedding photography and all sorts of things. And a big mentor, I think, in my early life. But so just working under here there, just felt that love, had that creative love anyway, but just, and I was doing after school drama and things like that. So I always had that creative sort of preference. But yes, the photography was a great way to go down. And that just developed into doing little weddings and family get-togethers and things like that, and that sort of grew from there. Then I moved back down to Taranka, Ferndale, Lowood area. TS was just doing photography on the side. Had a great friend who was into the video side of things, so then we did the photo and video combo for a while.
Oh, cool.
Burnt myself out. Trying to prove that I could do it all while having children, and
you can't do it all.
And it's like, trying to edit weddings through to 1 a.m. in the morning in between feeds and things like that. I actually shot a wedding. So for Ari, my eldest, I shot a wedding a week before I was due to have her. And then I shot a wedding. Then she came on her due date the following Saturday, which was very convenient. But then a week later, I shot another friend's wedding with a vagina full of stitches. And, and it was just like, when you realise that you are insane and you should not be doing stuff. And so Michael had baby Ari at the wedding, who was getting passed around like a box of cookies. And I didn't even think about things like, people now won't take their baby out for 6 weeks until Ari was a week old and she was getting passed around at the wedding. We got back after doing the photo shoot and my boobs were out here and had to go find a quiet corner to breastfeed the baby before continuing on.
And your hormones might have been all over the place at that stage too.
I worked very well under pressure, so it was all cool at the time, but by midnight that night when it's like, okay, we need to come home now, I was very much done.
You didn't have a C-section, did you?
No.
Geez, that would have been either way. It would have been a big
too
thing.
much.
It was
way too much.
It was a silly idea. I was really embarrassed at the week before wedding because I couldn't wear shoes because one of my foot was like.
It's so swollen.
Our backup plan was one of the bridesmaids was a midwife. That was our backup plan.
I don't know if I can
just breathe between shots.
Anyway, sorry, getting off topic. Anyway, along the lines, so then, realised that it was a bit too much, so sort of backed off and was just doing the mum thing. But then as my daughter developed her love of theatre and I could see that really growing in her, then it was like really going, I do miss all that theatre and creative side of things. So in along there, I've always done photos for friends or family if I had a funny idea that I wanted to do. But I wouldn't go back to commercial photography as such. But it worked out well then because in amongst the theatre stuff, there was like, hey, this is community theatre. There's opportunity to have fun with the media side of things. So, with Ipswich Little Theatre started doing some photos with them and it's just fun.
So who was the person who, because how did you find that first photography opportunity? How did you find out about that traineeship at school?
I actually left school. I was working at like a little donut shop in Deception Bay. Because you could still at that time just leave school.
Yeah.
So I decided I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because I decided at that time that I didn't think I had what it takes to pursue acting professionally at that stage. And then I think I might have been part of some employment thing for teenagers or something, and then it was advertised. It's probably advertised in the newspaper, something crazy like that. So, but yeah, that's how I fell down that rabbit hole.
Something proper old school.
Back in the world when there wasn't digital cameras and people had to go get their photos processed at the...
So one thing that we should ask is how do you know each other?
Oh, well, I'll stop eating and talking.
Kim and I were in a play together called Deliver Us from Mama.
Yes, that was my first play for Ipswich Little Theatre.
Ah, how did you find out about that?
Well, Ari was doing junior theatre there.
Yeah.
And myself and one of the other mums,
Yep.
Jess Pittman, our kids were both doing the juniors, and it was advertised that, they did big pickle play.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, it's so good to get back into theatre. It was very daunting. I was so scared. If Jess and I hadn't made that pact that we were both going to go to those auditions, we probably wouldn't have gone. But then of course we walk into the auditions and they're like, this is the biggest turnout we've had in such a long time, and we're like, oh, damn. As it turned out, Jess, yourself and myself all ended up in the play together, so that was really cute.
Yeah.
And that was so much fun. It was such a fun.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that?
2023 or 2022? I can't remember. Maybe 2022.
I'm thinking it was 2022 because I'm sure it was towards the end of the year.
Yeah. It was kind of September, October, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, and I think Aria was only in year 7 or something.
She probably was then at that stage. Yeah.
Gosh, time flies.
I know. So yeah, just in that theatre family, it is just so awesome. You just meet the most amazing people in that sort of group.
Because when you've been, as you've been involved in theatre, so your involvement in the junior side of theatre with your kids.
I was just helping out.
So you were helping out, and so you would help out with what sort of things would you do there?
So Deidre and Anne looked after the juniors. I was just that parent that helped when they put performances on. I'd help them with lighting or help them with costumes or help them organise things and see people in, or just one of those little helper people that you need when you're trying to get 20 or 30 kids to perform.
And so it's so, because you've been in a few productions with Ipswich Little Theatre since then.
I have,
Yeah, and not just as an actor either.
No, well then, another wonderful person I've met through the theatre there is Tracy Spence, and she approached me and said, would I be interested in assistant directing with her? And I said, sure. Sounds like fun. Without really thinking about it. And whether Tracy thought about it or not, but she picked Stepping Out, which has like 13 odd characters, all with massive costume changes and a dance routine and just the complications of trying to figure it all out. It's like we probably could have gone a touch smaller to start with, but it was really interesting with her, and she's so good with working the relationships with people, where my strong point's probably looking at it from a creative space and how can we make this work more creatively, and then all the costumes and the marketing and the photography side of it.
The visual side of things.
That's probably, that probably interests me more, like when you go watch a performance and you're too busy watching what the stagehands are doing on the side and not actually watching the performance. I love doing that, like when you go to QPAC and you're trying to look at the musicians playing, and then you're trying to see what the sides are going on and who's up in the rafters. And I tend to look at all that.
So what does an assistant director do? What's their job?
I mean, I guess it would depend on the individual director how they want the assistant director to do their job. I think Tracy and I just had a lot of fun, to be honest. One of the main things as assistant director, I think one of the main thing is the director has that person who's following the script and can let people know how they're going with their lines while the director's watching it come together. So that's a big role of assistant director, just being that backhand, because as a director you can't be watching the script as well as directing people at the same time. But then at the same time you get to look at things and you can sort of just brief and debrief after each rehearsal. We did discover, I think 99% of our cast was either ADHD or something similar, so it became a bit of a joke for us that we were herding cats. So at the end of our performance we all got shirts, and I had designed this image of all these cats on stage, and I had labelled everyone with what kind of cat they were. So yeah, we were herding cats the whole time, but it was just so much fun. Yeah. It did get a little bit stressful because our main character got really, really sick at performance time.
Oh no.
And we got a little bit... We had originally decided we didn't have like understudies as such, but we sort of figured between Tracy and I, with our sizing and the cast sizing, I said, I'll take one of these half and you take one of those half, and we'll just be that person. So the main person, our main character who got really sick, she's my size, but I don't have any dance background, but Tracy had dance background. So there was a scene where my character had to do a dance.
Oh, so you had to step in for some of the performances?
2. I had to do 2. I've never been so stressed in my life.
Yeah.
Luckily she was the dance instructor, so I had like a clipboard that I had some of the script on, so I could pretend I was just deciding how I was going to choreograph. Apparently I did all right, but there was a scene where Tracy and I were dressed up in the same outfit, and she did the dance, and then we sort of clapped hands in the doorway, like did a high five, and
She was playing that role for the dance
yeah,
part.
one of the characters said something like, wow, you look different. It's like, yes, thank you, I'm on that quick diet.
I lost a few because
Tracy's quite tall.
So you had, yeah. So
that was quite funny.
Like the Eat Me, Drink Me, Alice in Wonderland types.
It was a little bit, yeah. It's like, I did that dance the whole time, yes.
you had a stunt performer.
Yeah, I did.
So that's really cool. So it's not just so it wasn't just, how the characters would interact and the moves on the stage and the which that's blocking, isn't it?
Blocking,
so yeah,
so we're going to be on stage
and when and
top stage left
and then the nuance of how they speak to each other and all that sort of stuff. So I guess that's all part of it. But then that unexpected part of it you were talking about, where you have to kind of really think on your feet, and as the pair of you stepped in and were swapping over.
Yeah, you just have to be very what's the word? Flexible?
Yeah.
So yeah, that really threw me into the world of what's involved in directing. But I must say, directing does give you a really good push with your own acting.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at it from a completely different angle.
Yeah.
So what you're looking at on stage and you think you're doing all right, but until you're on that other side, it's a bit like a photographer and someone it's the same thing. Directing is a bit like taking the photos because it can look completely different.
Yeah.
So you just sort of, just trying to put something from your head into what everyone else can see.
So did you start getting back into a bit of photography as a result of being involved with Ipswich Little Theatre?
It gave me a little bit... I've always been doing little things.
Yeah.
As I suppose all creative people always trying to find something new to try. What's fun about doing the theatre ones with like the social media is you're sort of taking photos and then you get to play on the computer and do some fun backgrounds and make it look like whatever you want. So I actually really enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just given just that extra angle to what I love about being part of that theatre group, and it's been really fun.
I'm really interested in is like, how do you think Ipswich affects what you do and your creativity? Because I'm only new to Ipswich, so I'm very interested in how other people see it creatively. So
So I moved back here because my husband, well, now husband, they had a family business. I was living up the coast there. I moved around a fair bit. Early years I was out central Queensland.
Oh, wow.
But decided to move down here. In terms of the whole creative side of things, for me out at Fernvale Way, there's not as much opportunities out there. So Ipswich Little Theatre is half an hour drive to me.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
And I have thought of trying other theatre groups just to meet different people.
Yeah.
But then I'm travelling further and further into Brisbane.
Yeah.
So when you're balancing family, I don't want to be travelling an hour several times a week for rehearsals and things. So I love it, but I've got other things going on as well. So anything in a half-hour scope's quite reasonable. Half an hour to 45 minutes is quite reasonable. So for me, Ipswich is sort of, that's my option.
Yeah.
So what I can find in the Ipswich area is what I'm going to be pushing for at this stage while I still have, kids at home and so forth.
Yeah.
It's great. Ipswich Little Theatre, we found that one, and then, hearing what you guys are doing.
And of course there's Ipswich Musical Theatre too.
Musical Theatre, and then
What's Up Productions.
Yes, that's what I was trying to think. What's that one?
What's that one?
What's Up Productions. It's another theatre group, and they do musicals and straight plays as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
they did a radio play last year.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they'll be doing Jekyll and Hyde, which got postponed due to the cyclone, but they're coming back in May. So, so it's amazing. Once you start looking, then you start finding these other little nooks and things in that Ipswich area, because, I remember when I was looking for ARIA for a child, like, where can I take this child who wants to do theatre?
Yeah.
I couldn't really find anything initially. It wasn't until someone even told me about Ipswich Little Theatre. I actually didn't find them online or anything when I was looking at the time. So
I found them through word of mouth.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I only know of them because of you.
Oh,
Because I'd never heard of them. I didn't know where they were.
yeah. I Googled
So-
when I got here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I Googled theatre groups.
Okay, yeah, and that's how you found it? Yeah, well, at the time it was more that someone told me about it. I was like, oh, okay.
So it's kind of a regional hub, would you say, for a lot of people who...
I think from this side of Brisbane, it's really important for that sort of sense. So from where I am, like, you have sort of got Laidley, Gatton, and I have seen ones advertised Toowoomba, which is like an hour and a bit up the range that way. So, but Ipswich is like, that half-hour link. That's great. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's
Yeah, it is.
so that's why that's really important to me, and that's probably why I'll stay in that area as well. But because of the people I've met, they've just been also welcoming and awesome. So
Yeah, it's always the people, isn't it?
it's like the only reason I would want to try a different theatre is just to put yourself out of your comfort zone and make yourself uncomfortable, which we all have to do.
And I guess,
Tell us more about your photography mentor. What sort of things did they teach you? Do you remember? I know it's going back a little while now.
Well, I suppose I was fresh out of high school, young teenager, I suppose, but she was a very proper lady. She introduced me to long earrings, and she was married to an Italian, so everything was either vinegar or olive oil. That fixed everything. But yeah, she was just a very proper lady, and I just loved how strong. And I love finding across really strong women who are, quite strong in their beliefs, and you just take little bits from different people. And she taught me a few things about how to present myself and how to deal. Which, it's funny when you think of anything in your sort of job, like customer service or anything like that, it's all just acting, isn't it? Like, any job thing you do is just acting, because you're possibly not that person when you're at home. That's just who you are when you're at work.
It's your whole, I sort of like think your whole life outside of your house is an act, isn't it?
Just whatever way you want to present yourself. That's just, and that's what I found myself telling my daughter, who's just started her first part-time job, and she's so scared about talking to adults and so forth. And it's like, well, it's just acting, honey. Everything you've learned in theatre, just go do that in the real world. You just become what you want that person to be in that role, and then you just act it and you just become that person.
Yeah. And so what have you noticed in terms of the changes of technology? Yeah.
I worked in a photo lab when, people couldn't keep those private photos to themselves. So,
Oh, that would have been an education. Yeah.
well, yes, I learnt about bondage and we did photos for a jail and the police up there. Remember, we had a murder up there where a body got all chopped up, and we got to process those, and that was cool.
They didn't have their own lab to process the photos. They had to bring it to you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was fun. Now you got digital, so people can keep all that stuff to themselves. It'd be a bit boring now.
I guess unless they want to post it online.
Yeah, well, that's true. We didn't have the whole online thing, but yeah. So we sold cameras, and I remember when the first digital camera came to market. It was a Kodak digital camera. It was a 1.3 megapixel, and sold for $500.
Yeah, they were really expensive.
Yeah, and crap.
What sort of thing would 1.3 megapixels do?
You wouldn't print it. It would really, literally only be for online. But at that stage, like social media hadn't really happened yet either. So
Yeah, I remember the price of them.
Yeah.
Because anyone who could afford one, well, they had money. Or
It was a status symbol.
It was a status.
It probably was.
Yeah, it was a status symbol. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember a friend got one, and
It was a big deal.
Actually, you know what? I didn't know this. My son told me this.
Yeah.
Back in the years and years and years ago, this was a sign to let people know that you had syphilis.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. True. Yeah, you look it up.
But why would you need to do that in code? If you're at a dinner party?
Back in the
Back up.
So you might be interested in me, but just so you know, before antibiotics, a lot of people died from syphilis.
Yes.
Adolf Hitler apparently had the syphilis.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't quote me on that. You might want to check the facts.
But he was insane.
Yeah. Well,
that'd do your head in.
it led to insanity. Yeah, and of course that was before antibiotics. So he he was a syphilitic
Madman.
madman,
But the crazy
but
part,
also vegetarian.
Was he a vegetarian?
He was a vegetarian.
He was an artist as well.
Oh.
Yeah, he
the
did
crazy part
landscapes.
of that all, yes, he was a very demonic, evil person, but he had people who followed him. He wouldn't have got anywhere if no one followed him, but people followed him, and that's the craziest part of it.
Yeah.
I loved taking the tram when I lived in Melbourne, and I would insert myself into other people's conversations, as you do. And because you just hop off at the next tram stop and get the tram behind it, so you're fine. You'll never see them again. Or very unlikely that you'll see them again. Unless you turn up to work at your new job and, look, here's your new boss. But no, so there was these two people, I think a man and a woman, and they were talking about merkins. So pubic hair wig. And the woman was saying to the man, "That's ridiculous, that never happened, that never existed." And I piped up. There was hardly anyone else in the tram.
I love having that conversation, thinking they're having a private conversation.
Yeah.
Like on a tram.
Yeah, exactly. So I piped up and I said, "Oh, actually, your friend here is right. They really were a thing, and I think you can still get them." And I said, as a matter of fact, there's a country town in Victoria called Newmerka, and its primary industry when it began was making merkins. Because that's where you'd go to get your new merkin. And
What era?
I just made it up on the spot. But there really is a place in Victoria called... There really is a place in Victoria called Newmerka. It's in country Victoria. But I don't know that they ever made merkins there. They might have. Could have been a cottage industry. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
I know, it was so much fun.
I did do that to my brother-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
So I had, my first car was a 1964 Volkswagen Beetle. Like that was my dream car. Her name was Daisy.
Nice.
When you turned,
What colour?
she was like a metallic aqua blue.
Oh, that was, the colour of my first car.
And I had
actually.
glow-in-the-dark stickers on the roof. But if you turned the car too far to the right, the horn would go off. But that's okay because you're in the Volkswagen Beetle and everyone waves at you anyway. But it had a big red button on the dash. Like there wasn't much of a dash, but it had this big red button. It was quite comical.
Yeah.
Anyway, my now brother-in-law, but he was a younger teenager at the time. He's like, Kim.
He's younger than you?
Yeah. He's like, what's this big red button? Like I think I'd just got my license, so I was taking them for a drive. What's this big red button? I was like, oh, well, you know how Volkswagens are renowned for catching fire and the engine's in the back? He's like, oh, okay. I said, well, if my engine catches fire, I press that big red button and the engine drops off the back of the car. Anyway, forgot we had this conversation. I think it was months later. I went to some family function with the rest of the family, some big do. And then Glennie's like, oh, everyone, have you seen Kim's car? It's a Beetle. It's got this big red button. If the engine catches fire, she's got to press this button and the engine will fall up. I'm like, oh, Glennie, I'm really sorry, but that's not actually what it is.
What was it for?
It squirted water up on the windscreen.
Oh, that is classic. That is beautiful.
We bring that up every now and again.
Just drop the engine.
You know, since we're talking about, at the beginning of our conversation, you were talking about how there you were, you'd just given birth a week ago. You were a week before giving birth. You had to do this photography thing. A week after birth, you went and did it again.
Yeah.
And there's that kind of thing that I think a lot of creative people do, or a lot of people do in all walks of life actually, but I've seen a lot of creative people do this, which is the show must go on.
Yes. It's like you let your body fall apart to finish the project that you've set your mind to, committed to.
And if you think about it, what else in your life would you do for little or no money? So, because you were saying how this is, a lot of your creative stuff is either, community-based, voluntary, mine too, and, or side projects, while you have another main thing that you get your income from.
Yeah.
How do you think your life would be if you didn't have that creative outlet?
Yeah, good question.
If you didn't have the creative outlet,
Yeah.
it'd be boring.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
It'd be very boring. And I think it makes you a better person. It's a very overly used word of filling your cup, but it does, you need to. Otherwise you just go, so I've had quite a reasonably quiet start of the year purposely.
Yeah.
But it's like, you just go home and then you have dinner and then you sort of, I'll just go to bed. Whereas if you've got something to go to, you'll go and do it and have a great time, right? And I think even for myself, like I have kids and you hear about people who, once their kids grow up, then they get that bit of empty nester.
Yes.
It's like, I think it's very important, and you do lose a bit of who you are when you become a mum, because you become a mum and doesn't matter, it just takes up way too much time. So if you don't have these extra interests, it's like, well, who are you?
You lose a part of yourself. Maybe.
Yeah. So if there's something that brings you joy, you've got to follow that joy. It's just like the breadcrumb trail, isn't it? It's like, I really enjoy doing this, so what's something else? And I'm a big believer in the universe, and you put out what you want and something will show up for what you need at that time, that suits you at that time, 100%. So,
And have you found that to be the same with the people that you've met through your creative pursuits?
Oh, I think so, yeah. Everyone's important, but different people will come and go at different stages, and absolutely. And everyone's it's normal, I suppose, when you're on a pursuit of something that interests you, if you find other people that find that interesting as well. You're going to have a lot in common, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's all part of it.
I saw this really interesting article online this morning, and what it is they're marrying up information from census records, I suppose, now. And I suppose it's one of those things that AI is going to be really good at getting all of this information out. So the stats are for women who remain married, they have higher incidences of dementia.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So women who are widowed, divorced, or never married have less incidence now of dementia. And so they seem to think that this is what, because a lot of women, and maybe from a previous generation as well too, once they're married and they are retired, they're not going out and doing anything that fulfills them. They're sort of being really quite stagnant, whereas women who don't have that partner, they are putting themselves out there more and socialising more.
yeah.
So this is like new information that's coming through, and and they're following it up because it's quite significant.
Yeah.
Well, they're sort of kind of boxing a little bit, aren't they? That just because you're married, and there are those people who that's them, so they're at home, they're not doing anything for themselves, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting when our generation hits that demographic.
I agree.
Because in our generation, men also have the opportunity to stay at home with kids.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of an individual thing too of what people get comfortable with.
Yeah.
Like I would say in my relationship, my husband and I, we both have always had our own interests.
Yeah.
And we've both gone off and done our own hobbies and tried not to push the other one to be involved in those hobbies as such.
Yeah. So that you've got something for yourself.
So that you got something for yourself, even though when you look at what I'm into and what he's into, you'd wonder how we actually exist together because we're not into the same things at all. But that kind of works then.
Yeah.
So, but there would be those people who don't have those interests, and their interest is just being in a relationship.
Yeah. When I
Doing
think
stuff
about,
together?
say,
People say in their 70s or 80s who are perhaps part of their cohort, or even because they'd be looking at people who've passed away in probably the last 20 or so years. So that would be people who've been married in the 1940s or sometimes even 1930s, and then so it'll be interesting to see how that changes over
With a
time.
traditional housewife more?
That's a big part of it too, I think.
Yeah.
I really think that's a major part.
I think if I was a traditional housewife, I'd be an alcoholic in the corner somewhere.
Yeah, because it's less common now to have just one partner working outside of the home.
It's just too expensive.
Yeah.
That way, isn't it?
Yeah, and even after the kids go, you kind of have to keep working, both of you.
But you know, I worked in pharmacy a lot before the role that I'm in, and one really interesting thing I observed as a human observer, the ones that are getting ready to retire, the ones that say, I want every day to be Sunday, they drop off really quick.
Yeah.
The ones who are involved with volunteering, those sorts of things, they're fine.
Yeah. They've got a purpose.
Yeah. But once you go into Sunday mode, you will, if that's what you want, all good. But that was something I really observed. I spent 13 years in that pharmacy, community pharmacy world, and that was one thing I definitely picked up.
Interesting,
Well, we might wrap it
Yeah, I
up
was
there.
going to
You've got
say,
another,
yeah.
Thank you so much, Kim. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Ipswich Creative.